Alright, time for a little semester exam review. Alright, looking at number one, we're dealing with exponents. Remember, I cannot have a negative exponent. In order to make my exponent positive, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change what level it's on, right? So I'm going to move that y to the negative 5 down to the denominator. I'm going to move this x to the negative 3 up to the numerator. When you change what level it's on, it becomes positive, right? So the x to the negative 3 comes to the numerator and it becomes positive, over the y to the negative 5 moves to the denominator and it becomes positive. Now the question says x is 2, so I'm going to plug that in. Y is negative 4. I'm going to plug that in. So I have 2 cubed over negative 4 raised to the 5th power. Answer is B. Okay, you get 8 over negative 1024. That reduces to negative 1 over 128. Looking at number 2, I need to distribute my negative 4. Now, again, this is a power raised to a power. Okay, this is a power raised to a power. So what you're going to do is you are going to multiply your exponents. I don't know why my camera is blurry, but it is. Fantastic. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this m to the 3rd and multiply by the negative 4. You're going to get m to the negative 12th over 4 to the negative 4, and then c to the negative 20th, because again 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. This is totally different, right? This is a power raised to a power. You need to multiply exponents. Now once again I have negative exponents, so I need to change what level they're on and they become positive. So this 4 raised to the negative 4 is going to move to my numerator. It's going to be 4 raised to the 4th power. The c to the 20th is going to move to my numerator and it's going to become positive. And then the m to the negative 12 is going to move to the bottom and become positive also. 4 raised to the 4th power is 256. C to the 20th over m to the 12th. Moving on to number 3. Number 3, I'm looking at a cube root. Okay, a cube root, you're looking for 3, right? Not a square root. Square root is 2. A cube root, you're looking for 3 to be able to bring out. The cube root of 27, 27 breaks down into 9 and 3. 9 breaks down into 3 and 3. You have 3 3's. That's your answer. Nothing left underneath the radical. Alright, let's simplify 20h to the 6k squared. 20 breaks down into 5 and 4. You don't have a pair, so we keep going. The 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. That comes outside. H to the 6th, k to the 4th. Again, I can take my exponents, 6th power, and divide by 2, because once again we're looking for pairs. Right, so if I take 6 and divide by 2, I get h to the 3rd, so I know that 3 pairs of h's came out. Same thing with the k's. I've got k to the 4th, okay, which again is k times itself 4 times. So how many pairs do you have? You have 2 pairs. So k squared is coming out. Outside we have a 2. We have h to the 3rd, k squared. And then underneath the radical we still have 5. Number 5, I'm simplifying the radical expression. Okay, so I can either go ahead and multiply first and then simplify, or I can go ahead and simplify right now. I can simplify this 4 into 2 and 2. So a pair of 2's comes out. So I have the square root of 14q times 4 square root of q. Now where did I get 4? I had a 2 outside. I brought another 2 outside. You multiply those numbers and you get 4. So now we can multiply underneath the radical, right? So I have 4 square root of 14q squared. Well now again, q squared breaks down into q and q. You have a pair of q's that comes outside. So my answer is 4q square root of 14, B. Another radical, we're looking at number 9, or number 8, excuse me. Okay, I can rewrite this as that right there. Okay, we all know that the square root of 9 is 3. I can break down the square root of 80, right? The square root of 80 w cubed. 80 breaks down into 8 and 10. You don't have a pair, so we keep going. 10 breaks down into 2 and 5. 8 breaks down into 4 and 2. There's a pair. The 4 is going to break down into 2 and 2, so there's another pair. So we brought out a 2, we brought out another 2. So we have 4 outside. I still have a 5 underneath the radical, so square root of 5. And now again, w cubed means I have 3 w's, so you bring out a pair, and there's 1 left over. So my numerator reduces to that right there. So 4w square root of 5w, and that's over 3. Looking at number 7, we are adding polynomials together. So we are looking at like terms. What you're going to do is you're going to combine like terms here, 9.7x squared minus 1.1x squared. Okay, we know that that is 8.6x squared. Okay, now I want to combine these like terms. So you have a positive 7.7, you subtract 0.8. That's going to give you a positive 6.9x. And then we combine these and we get plus 7.7d. Number 8, again, we're working with polynomials. We're trying to simplify. Now, this minus sign right here tells me, that that whole parentheses is subtracted, right? So I'm going to rewrite this. Negative 7x minus 5x to the 4th plus 5. And then minus a negative 7x, which is plus 7x to the 4th. Minus negative 5, which again is plus 5. And then minus negative 9x, which is positive 9x. Alright, let's look for like terms. Again, like terms, same variable, same power. 7 minus 5 gives me a positive 2. So we know right now B is wrong, C is wrong. So we've got 2x to the 4th. Now we're going to combine our x's. So positive 9x minus 7x gives me a positive 2x. And then last but not least, positive 5 plus 10a. Moving on up. Looking at number 9, I want to simplify the product. Okay, product means to multiply, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to distribute to every term in that parentheses. 5 times 3 is 15. A to the 6th, because you have a squared, which is a times itself, and then a to the 4th, which is a times itself 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a to the 6th. Now we're distributing here, so I've got 5a squared times 3b. That's going to give me a positive 15ab. And then last we're going to go to distribute to here, so 5 times 2 is going to give me 10a squared. Factor the polynomial. We're going to factor out the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor that is shared between 9 and 54. Okay, I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor shared between 9 and 54. Okay, both of those are divisible by 9. So I know I can factor out a 9. Okay, well, what else? Look at your variables. You've got c to the 3rd, which means you have c times itself 3 times. You've got c to the 4th, which means you have c times itself 4 times. Okay, well, there's 3 c's in this c to the 4th, so I can factor out a c cubed. And then I can also factor out a d squared, because you have a d squared here and a d to the 4th. Well, obviously there's 2 d's in 4, so d squared. Now, what's left? 54 divided by 9 is 6. C cubed, and we factored out c cubed, so no c's are left. D to the 4th, we factored out 2 d's, so d squared is left. Plus 9, and we factored out 9. C to the 4th, and we factored out 3 of those, so you have a c left over. There's your answer. Number 11, it says a sport team is building a new stadium on a rectangular lot. The lot measures 7x by 7x. The sports field will be 5x by 5x. How much of the lot will be left over to build the bleachers on, excuse me. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking this and we're subtracting this, the areas. Right, so 7x times 7x gives you 49x squared. And now we're going to subtract the sports field. So I'm going to go minus 5x times 5x, which is 25x squared. So 49x squared minus 25x squared is a 24x squared. Question number 12 says the sphere has a radius of 2x plus 5. It gives you that the formula is pi r squared. So here's your r, you need to square that. What that means is that's multiplied by itself. Right, so let's write this. I'm going to go 4 times pi times the radius squared. All I did was plug in for r. We know that this is r. Now what I need to do is I need to write this twice. That's what that tells me, 2x plus 5 twice. So you have 4 times pi times that, right? And we know how to multiply this. You can either FOIL or box it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to FOIL it. So first times first. Outsides. Insides. And last. So now you're here. Okay, we can combine like terms and we get 4x squared plus 20x plus 25. And again, that's multiplied by the 4 pi. So now you have one more step. Now I need to distribute in here. So you have 4 pi, sorry, not 4, 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. 16 pi x squared. You need to distribute here. 4 times 20 is a positive 80 pi x. Sorry, can you see that? And then last, you got 4 times 25, and that's positive 100 pi. Now again, pi is a number, guys. Pi is not a variable, so these are not like terms. You cannot combine those. You just leave it like that. The correct answer is D. Looking at number 13, what's a simpler form of each product? So once again, this means you have 2 of those, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as 2x minus 6. And now, once again, we're going to multiply. Now this one, I'll go ahead and box it for you if you'd like to box. 2x minus 6. 2x minus 6. This is going to give me 4x squared. Again, we multiply to get inside the box. So 2x times a negative 6 is a negative 12x. Same thing here, negative 12x. And then a positive 36, because a negative 6 times a negative 6 is a positive 36. We're going to combine like terms. You got 4x squared minus 24x plus 36d. We're going to skip number 14 for now. We're going to come back to that later on. Let's go to number 15. Number 15 says, what is the factored form of the following expressions? Again, this is A, this is B, and this is C. We're looking for factors of A, which is 1, that add to give me B. So factors of A times C, which is 1 times 63, that add to give me a 16. Well, factors of 63 that add to give me 16 would be 9 and 7. Now, both of those signs are positive, so both of my signs are positive. Right, so I know right now, 9 times 7, 63, 9 plus 7 is going to equal 16. Perfect. So D plus 9, D plus 7. Moving on up. Look at number 16. It says the area of a rectangular garden is given by the trinomial x squared plus x minus 42. What are the dimensions? So you're going to factor. So we're looking for factors again of A times C, or 1 times a negative 42, that add to give me B. So some factors of negative 42, 6 and 7. Okay, and again, those are going to add, and I put in quotations add because we're subtracting those factors. Because I need to multiply to get a negative number. The only way to multiply to get a negative number is a positive and a negative. Now, which one the 6 or the 7 is going to be positive. Okay, well that sign is positive, the positive 1. So the bigger number of my two factors should be positive. So it should be a negative 6 and a positive 7. X minus 6, x plus 7, B. Number 17, we're back to factoring. Okay, now I'm looking for factors of A times C that add to give me B. A times C, 15 times 4. Okay, I'm looking for factors of 60 that add to give me a negative 16. Factors of 60 that add to give me a negative 16. So some factors of 60 are 6 and 10. Right? And now, again, we need to multiply to get a positive, but we're adding to get a negative. So we know that both of these factors need to be negative. So a negative 6 times a negative 10 is a positive 60. Negative 6 plus negative 10 is a negative 16. Fantastic. There are our factors. Now, let's draw our asterisk. Why are we drawing our asterisk? Because A is greater than 1. A is greater than 1. In the top of my little asterisk right here goes A, which is 15 and 15. In the bottom goes my factors. So negative 6 and negative 10. Now, it doesn't matter if you wrote the negative 10 here and the negative 6 here. It doesn't matter. You do you boo-boo. Now, here are my two parentheses, right? But I need to simplify my fractions. Both of these are divisible by 5. So that reduces to 3 over 2. Both of these are divisible by 3. So that reduces to 5 over negative 2. Sorry, this is a negative also. My fault. Okay, so now, again, here's my first and here's my second. Doesn't matter what order you put your parentheses in. Okay, you have 3x minus 2, and you have 5x minus 2. So 5x minus 2, 3x minus 2, bam. Number 18, again, we're trying to factor when A is not equal to 1. Alright, so again, I'm doing A times C that adds to give me B. A times C that adds to give me B. So A times C, 4, times negative 21 is a negative 84. So I need to multiply to get a negative 84 and add to get a positive 8. Now again, we're multiplying to get a negative, so you know your factors need to have different signs. One's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. So some factors are 14 and negative 6. Again, how do I know the 6 is negative? Because the bigger number has to have whatever sign that is. That's a positive 8. So my 14 is my bigger factor out of 14 and 6. Therefore, the 14 needs to be positive. 14 times negative 6 is a negative 84. 14 minus 6 is a negative 8. Fantastic. Those are my factors. Now, once again, we're going to draw our asterisk. In the top goes A and A, which is 4, coming from there. In the bottom goes my factors, so 14 and negative 6. Again, we're trying to reduce our fractions. Here's our first fraction. We can reduce by 2, and that becomes 2 over 7. Here's my second fraction. We can reduce that also by 2, and that becomes 2 over negative 3. So first parentheses, 2x plus 7. Second parentheses, 2x minus 3. Looking at the last one on this page, number 19, we are looking to factor that. The first thing I can do is I see that all of these are divisible by 2. So I can factor out a GCF, greatest common factor. So I'm dividing everything by 2. I'm factoring out a 2. So this becomes 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. Now, once again, I'm trying to factor this, right? So I'm looking for factors of A times C that add to give me B. Well, in this case, A, 10, times C, which is a negative 6, is a negative 60. They need to add to give me a positive 11. So once again, multiply to give me a negative. You know you need to have one positive and one negative factor. Different signs. So factors of 60 that add to give me 11. Factors of 60 that add to give me 11. So I'm going to say 15 and 4. Now how do I know if the 15 is positive or the 4 is positive? That number, the 11, is positive. So the bigger factor needs to take that sign. So 15 is obviously bigger than 4. 15 needs to have the positive sign. Now let's draw our asterisk. In the top goes A and A, so 10 and 10. In the bottom goes my factors of positive 15 and negative 4. And again, we're going to reduce our fractions. So we'll reduce by 5 here. This becomes 2 over 3. Reduced by 2 here. This becomes 5 over negative 2. So we already had a 2 outside. And then this factored into 2x plus 3 and 5x minus 2. Okay, so 2, 5x minus 2, 2x plus 3. Doesn't matter what order you write them in there. C is your answer. Factoring again for number 20. Okay, number 20 is a perfect square. The difference of squares. Okay, that's my answer right there. You know that your b term canceled out. Your b term canceled out. You don't see an s term here. So the b term went away, so you know that you need to have a positive and a negative. And your right here is the same number. Alright, now, what happens if I don't know how to factor? Right? So number 21 says, what's the factored form of this expression? I don't really know how to factor that. What can I do with these answer choices? All I need to do is FOIL them back out and get up here. Right? So I know that I need a 53k cubed. I need a 53k cubed. Okay, well, if I'm FOILing this, let's do 4k squared times an 2k. That gives me 8k to the third power. That's not 56k cubed. A is not right. Same thing here. I do 28 times 14k. If I multiply those, that doesn't give me a 56k cubed. D is not right. Now you're choosing between B and C. Okay, so let's FOIL this one out. And let's see if this is the right answer. Actually, let's FOIL this one out because it's the right answer. And then we'll make sure that we get the right answer. Right? So FOIL this means to do 4k squared times 2k, and that's going to give me 8k to the third. Minus 12k squared plus 10k minus 15. Again, all that's multiplied by 7. So 7 times 8 is going to give me 56k cubed. Minus 7 times a negative 12 is a negative 84k squared. Plus 70k, and then minus 105. Bam. Alright, last one on this page. It says an object is dropped from a height of 116 feet. The function is that. When will the object hit the ground? This is the height. So I want to know when is the height going to be equal to 0. So 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 116. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for t, right? So let's subtract 116 on both sides. Negative 116 equals negative 16t squared. Last step, divide by the coefficient. So t squared equals the square root, t squared equals, that reduces to 29 over 4. Okay, the last step, take the square root. So if you type in the calculator the square root of 29 over 4, it's going to give you 2.69.